Welcome to the next session of Programming for Problem Solving. The topic of the day is fundamentals of pointers. Now, what is a pointer? Pointer is a variable that is used to store the address of another variable, or a pointer can also be used to store the address of memory dynamically allocated at runtime. So pointer is basically a concept that is used to store the address of a variable or any reference. Or sometimes the memory is allocated at the runtime. So that means the amount of memory that you require is not known at the compile time. So C provides you with a provision to dynamically allocate memory or create memory at the runtime. So the memory created at runtime, the address of that can also be stored using a pointer. So what is a pointer? Basically a concept that deals with the address and not with the value. What are the advantages of pointers? There are many complex projects that uses data structures that can only be implemented with the help of pointers. For example, graphs, trees, they can only be created or they can only be implemented using a concept called linked list, which can be created using pointers. The second advantage of pointer is that a pointer can be used to allocate memory dynamically. Like I said, if you need extra memory at a runtime, it is only possible if you use the concept of pointers. Otherwise, you have to recompile the program, you have to create extra memory before the execution of the program takes place, and then again run the program. But it is not feasible in professional programming, especially in gaming where memory requirements can vary at the time when the game is executing. So pointers are very useful when the program is in execution to allocate memory dynamically. The third advantage is pointers are useful when passing large objects to a function. Like we did in a concept called functions, or if you have not done, you will see it, that if you are using the concept called call by value, then the size of the formal argument has to be equal to the size of the actual argument. That means अगर आप एक 10,000 एलिमेंट्स का एरे पास कर रहे हैं यूजिंग कॉल बाय वैल्यू, तो आपको 10,000 एलिमेंट्स को पास करना पड़ेगा एक फंक्शन के अंदर, ट्रांसफर करना पड़ेगा. So that is a lot of memory transfer taking between the functions. But with the help of pointers, no matter what is the size of your element, अगर 50,000 एलिमेंट्स भी हैं, अगर एरे है 50,000 एलिमेंट्स का भी है, for those 50,000 elements, there is no need to pass all those 50,000 elements to the function. You can simply pass the base address of that array or that element. So from that base element, we can access all elements using the pointer increment and decrement. तो अगर आप large objects को एक function में pass करना चाहते हैं, तो pointers are very useful because there is no need to pass the actual object. You can only pass the 2 byte or 4 byte address and the pointer will take care. The last and the major advantage is that pointers can be used to return more than one value from a function. If you have already studied functions or you will study functions, there is a limitation that you can only return one value using the return statement of a function. But if you want to return more than one value, then you can use the concept of call by address using pointers. It allows you to return more than one value. If you pass 4 arguments to the function using call by address, then you can return the value of all those 4 arguments using the pointers. How do we implement the concept of pointers? We use two operators in the C programming language to implement the concept of pointers. The first one is called the reference operator. Reference operator, as you can see on the screen, is the ampersand operator. Why we call it as a reference? Because this operator is used to return or refer to the memory location of any variable. Now, when we create a normal variable of any data type, for example, int a. Now, what actually a is? A memory of 2 bytes is allocated because it is of integer data type, and a is called the reference to that memory location. Basically, a is not doing anything. It is referring to that memory location. So now if you want to know the address of any variable, you have to use the reference operator. If I create a variable, let's say a, int a is equals to 10. If I print a, then it will print the value of a. If I print ampersand of a, it will print the address of a. Now, as you can see in the example given here, the first statement is used to create an integer variable called number, and the value of it is 10. Now, if you want to display the value of number, then use %d, which means that it is an integer value, and then simply give the name of the or identifier of the variable. Now, if you want to display the address, then you have to use the ampersand number. So ampersand basically means the reference operator, means the address of number. So what is the use of a reference operator? The reference operator is basically used to return or refer to the memory location of a variable. Here, interestingly, %x has been used, which is used to denote the address, hexadecimal value. The second operator is called the dereference operator. Now, what is the dereference operator? The dereference operator is used to access the value stored at the location a pointer is referencing to. So what is basically a pointer? Pointer is used to store the address of some variable. For example, if you create a variable like int a, then you can store the address of a in some pointer. And if you print the value of the pointer, it will display the address of a. But if you want to print the value of a using the pointer variable, then you have to use the dereference operator with it. The second use of dereference operator, it is used to declare a pointer variable. So let's have a look at this example. You can see the first thing that has been done here is that a normal variable a has been created of integer data type, and the value of a is equals to 10. The second line is a pointer variable has been created. And how do we know that this is a pointer variable? Because the dereference operator has been used to create the pointer variable. So the first line is used to create a normal variable. The second line is used to create the pointer variable. And this third line used to assign the address of a in the pointer variable. PTR is equals to ampersand of a or reference of a. With the help of this line, you are able to assign the address of a to pointer variable. Now, let's have a look at some of the values that will be printed. If you printf the value of printf a, then it will display 10, which is the value of a. If you try and display a reference of a, that means ampersand of a, it will print the address of a. Let's suppose that the address of a is 100. So what will be printed if you print a? It will print the value of a. Ampersand of a means the reference variable operator with a will print the address of a. Now, if you try to print the value of PTR. Now, what does PTR contain? PTR contains the address of a, and address of a is 100. So that means if you try to print PTR, then 100 will be displayed on the screen. Now, if you use the dereference operator along with the pointer variable. As you can read from here, the dereference operator is used to access the value stored at the location it is pointing to. Where it is pointing to? It is pointing to location number 100, which is the address of A. And what is the value stored at that location? That is 10. So that means dereference of PTR will print the value 10, which is stored at the address 100. I hope this explanation is clear to you, that what is the use of the dereference operator. The next important concept is how much memory is allocated to a pointer variable. Now, irrespective of the data type of the pointer variable, the same amount of memory is allocated to a pointer, 2 bytes or 4 bytes. Normally, if you are using the DOS version or the DOS compiler, then it is 2 bytes, and some of the Windows compilers, they actually allot 4 bytes. So the main thing is that the data type does not matter. What is the data type of the pointer does not matter. The pointer will always be allocated the same amount of memory. Let us suppose 2 bytes. Now let's have a look at the example here. In line number 1, we have created an integer pointer, and in line number 2, we have created a float pointer. Now, using the size of operator, we are trying to print how much memory does it take in memory. So it is an integer pointer, IPTR, it will take 2 bytes. Now the second one is a float pointer. Even though it is a float pointer, it will take 2 bytes. A normal float variable takes 4 bytes, but the pointer variable will take 2 bytes. It is because the pointer variable has nothing to do with the value. It only stores the address. That is the base address. And the base address or the starting address of all the variables, irrespective of the data type, will be same. Accessing the value using a pointer. This topic we have already discussed, but we will do it again. Like an example has been given here, that A is equals to 10. And then we are creating a pointer with the help of a dereference operator. Then this statement is used to assign the address of A into pointer variable. Now here we are printing the value A. Now what will A print? A will print the value of A, which is equal to 10. In the second, we are using the pointer variable, and with the pointer variable, we are using the dereference. It will again print 10. Why? Because already discussed that dereference operator along with the pointer is used to display or access the value which is stored at the address stored in pointer variable. So pointer में किसका address है? Pointer has the address of A. And what is the value stored inside that address? That is 10. So dereference operator along with the pointer variable or pointer identifier will print 10 and not the address of A. If you want to print the address of A, then do not use the dereference operator. Instead, simply print PTR. It will display the address of A. Now, what is a null pointer? Basically, pointer is a very dangerous concept to use. If you do not manage the pointers very carefully, then it can lead to very dire circumstances, and your program can even crash when it is running. Why sometimes it happens is because the pointers, they contain some addresses which are not valid, or they are able to access the memory locations which they are not supposed to. Now, what is a null pointer? Declaring a pointer variable without initializing and trying to access its value can result in some garbage value. Actually, when you declare a pointer variable, but you do not initialize it, then that pointer variable contains some garbage value. And it will contain that garbage value till you assign some address to it. Now, if you try to access the value of the pointer variable before you initialize it or assign it, you are basically referring to some garbage value, which is very dangerous. So rather than leaving the pointer variable declared without initialization, because obviously you do not have any valid address to assign, it is better to assign the null value to that pointer. So what is a null pointer? A null pointer is basically a pointer which contains the null value. And what is null value? A pointer that does not point to anything. So how you can create a null pointer? So this is normally how you declare a pointer. You declare a pointer like this: integer star ptr. This is only the declaration is equal to null. That means you are defining the pointer. If you write only integer star ptr, it means declaration. If you say integer star ptr is equals to null, that means declaration plus definition, and you are defining it with the value null, or you can define it using 0. 0 or null means no value. So a pointer is not pointing to anything, and this is called the null pointer. Next is called the void pointer. Normally, if you create a pointer of any data type, it can only store the address of the variables of the same data type. For example, let's go back to the previous slide. Now I will give you one example here. If you create a variable like this, integer a, and then you create a pointer like float dereference operator f. So in these two lines, what we have done is we have created a integer variable a and a float pointer f. If you try to assign the address of a to the pointer variable f, it will give you an error. Why? Because f is a float pointer, whereas a is an integer variable. And this type of assignment is strictly not allowed. Why it is not allowed, we will see. But for now, you just need to understand that we cannot assign a address of an integer variable into a float pointer. It will give an error. So what is a void pointer? Void pointer is a pointer which has no data type. Now, when you create a pointer which has no data type, basically you can store the address of all types of variables in it. So if you want to create a generic or a void pointer, it can be used to store the address of all types of variables. As you can see in the example here, integer a. Now what is an int a in the first line? We are creating a pointer of integer data type. So first of all, what we are doing is we are creating a variable of integer data type, that is a. Then we are creating a pointer using the dereference operator, but the data type of this pointer variable is void. That means it has no data type. And then we are trying to assign the address of a to ptr. This will work. Why it will work? Because ptr has no data type, and because ptr has no data type, or it is a generic pointer, it can store the address of a variable of any data type. So I hope the concept of void pointer is clear to you. The next concept is increment or decrement of a pointer variable. You are already aware of what is increment and decrement is. If you create an integer variable uh, and you try to increment the value of the integer variable, the value will be incremented by 1. So for example, if you create an integer variable like this a, and the value of that variable is 10, if you write a statement like a plus plus, which is an increment statement, what will be the value or the new value of a? The a will become 11. Why? Because we have incremented the value of a, and the value of a is incremented by 1. So we are able to increment the value of the variable a by 1. Now, similarly, you can also decrement the value of a. So what will be the new value of a? The new value of a will become 10, back to 10. Initially it was 10, incremented by 1, it became 11, decremented by 1, it became 10. Now what will be the value of increment and decrement operator if it is applied on the pointer variable? Let us suppose that we create a pointer variable ptr and we assign the address of a in pointer variable. Now let us suppose that the address of a is 106, and if I try to write this or execute this statement, that is ptr plus plus, that means increment the value of ptr, what will be the increment? Will it be incremented by 1? The answer is no. So then what will be the increment? For that you need to first of all revisit what is the definition of pointer variable. The pointer variable is used to store the address and not the value. So when I say ptr is equals to a reference of a, it means that it is storing the address of a, which is 106. Now ptr plus plus basically means it will point to the next address. Now because the address is of integer data type, that means the next address will be 2 bytes ahead, which is 108. Hence, if you increment the value of the integer pointer, it will be incremented by 2. Now, just suppose that if ptr was a float pointer and a was a float variable. So if I tried to increment the value of the float pointer, that means it will point to the next address. So what is the current address? 106. Because it is a float, it will take 4 bytes in memory, 106, 7, 8, and 9. So when you increment the value of the float pointer, it will point to the next address, which will be 4 bytes because it is of float type. Now that is why, like in the last slide, I told you that C does not allow you to store the address of a integer variable into a float pointer, because then the increment and decrement will become very difficult. I hope this increment and decrement concept is clear. The increment and decrement of the pointer variable is not always by 1, but the increment in the pointer variable depends upon the type. If it is of integer type, then the increment is of 2 bytes, and if it is of float, then it is of 4 bytes, and if it is of character type, then it is 1 byte. Pointer with array, it's a very important concept. You can also use the pointers with the arrays. They are very useful because array by definition is a collection of similar types of elements that are stored contiguously, that means one after the other. And if you know the address of the first element of the array, then you can simply compute the address of the second element by incrementing the value of the pointer. And if you want to come back, you can decrement the value of the pointer. Increment and decrement will work perfectly because the array elements are of the same data type. Now I'll give you one example. I'll try to explain it with the help of an example and you will be able to understand that. Now just imagine if this is an array. The figure, I'll just redraw the figure. So let me just redraw the figure. So this is much better. So let us suppose that you created an array of 6 elements. Okay. Now, if you created an array like this is of 10 elements. Basically, if you create an array of 6 elements, then this is the first element of the array. This is the second element of the array. The index value will be 1. And this is the third element of the array. Similarly, this is the fourth and so on. So now if you use a pointer variable and you store the address of the first element in this pointer variable, star ptr. So what is a star ptr? It is a pointer of integer data type and it contains the address of the first element. Now let us suppose that the address of the first element of an array is 100. Then what will be the address of the second element of the array? The address of the second element of the array will be 102. Why? Because they both are of integer data type. And what will be the address of the third element? It will be 104. So all elements are of equal size and the increment is also the same. Now, if the pointer variable contains the address of the first element, you can simply store the address of the second element of the array in the pointer variable by incrementing the value of the pointer. It is so easy. Another interesting concept, that if you create an array like this, first of all, let me clear it. Now, if you create an array like this, array name is A and the size of array is 10. Now, if you only try to access the by using the identifier A, you do not specify the index of it. Normally, if you want to access the value of the first element, then you write something like this. A means name of the array and 0 index means the first element of the array. But obviously you are not using this index part. You are only referring to A, which is the name of the array. Then this A actually refers to the base address of the array. Very interesting concept. When you create an array, the name of the array or the identifier used to create the array is actually the base address of the array. So if you want to know what is the address of this array, then A is the base address of the array. This is also known as the static pointer. Why it is static? Because the address, it points to the base address of the array and that address cannot be changed. Because the address of this cannot be changed, it is called the static array. Now there is an example how we can access an array using the pointer variable. Now using the statement 1, we have created an array A and the size of the array is 5. So basically the index number will start from 0 and it will go till 4. 0 is the index of the first element and 4 is the index of the last element. So we will be using this loop. The value of B will be initialized to 0 and then it will be incremented by 1 and it will go till 4. So that's basically what we want. And then we want to display the value of the different array elements. Now this is the statement basically used to display the value of each element of the array using pointer. If you are not using the pointer, then how can we print the value of each element of the array? We can do that by simply typing a of I, because sorry, not a of I, because we are using b, so a of b. Now value of b will be initialized to 0, and then it will be incremented 1 by 1 up to 4. So just see that initially a of b means a of 0, then a of 1, then a of 2, and then a of 3, and then a of 4. It is very simple. If you are not using the pointer, then there is no need to write that complex statement. You can simply write a of b and you will be able to access each and every element of the pointer. But if you are using the pointer, then you have to use the following statement. First of all, dereference operator will be used with the pointer variable because we want to access the value and not the address. And then we write a plus b. Now, what is actually a alone? What is the meaning of a? Already explained to you. If you do not use the index with the a, then it means that we are referring to the base address of the a. So a points to the base address. Initial value of b is 0. If you increment the value of base address with 0, it will stay the base address. So basically it will refer to the first element, and then the value of b will become 1. So if you increment the value of the pointer by 1, then it will point to the address of the next element. Like already explained, incrementing the value of the pointer by 1 actually increments it by the size. Because it is an integer pointer, then it will be incremented by 2. So this is how you can access all elements of an array using the pointer variable. Dynamic allocation of the memory, as I already explained it to you earlier, that we can allocate memory at the runtime if we need it. That means that memory is not created at the compile time. We are going to create additional memory when we are going to run the program. So different functions that we are going to use to allocate the memory. The first function is called the malloc function. The malloc function is basically used to assign the number of bytes at runtime of the pointer variable. जैसे अगर आप if you want to create an integer variable, so basically write there malloc int. So malloc int means it will assign the required amount of memory for the integer variable using malloc. Now what is calloc? Calloc is basically used to allocate a dynamic memory for an array. Here two arguments are passed. First is num, what is the size of the array, comma size. Size basically means how much of memory one element will take. Free. Free is basically used to free the memory which we do not require, which has been allocated dynamically. If you do not free the dynamically allocated memory, then you are running into a danger of uh, running out of the memory. अगर आपके पास memory let's say 100 bytes या 200 bytes है, अगर आप continuously उसको allocate करते रहेंगे, and the memory which you do not require, you do not deallocate it, then you are going to run short of the memory. So basically these are the three functions. Malloc function is basically used to assign or allocate memory for a single variable. Calloc is used to assign address or allocate addresses for the array. Free is used to dynamically deallocate or deallocate the memory which has been dynamically allocated. So I hope you were able to understand the basic concepts of the pointer, how you can create the memory, how you can dynamically deallocate the memory, how you can create a pointer variable, how you can save the address of a pointer variable, how pointer variable can be used to refer or access the value of the variables, and also how you can access each and every element of the array using the pointer. I hope you enjoyed the lecture, and I will see you in the next topic. Thank you.